Sarah Garrett spent 3 long years in a wheelchair after a terrible accident that changed her life forever. Once active and independent, she was now trapped in her own body, spending her days in endless business meetings and her evenings in empty, lifeless walks through the park, the only place where she could feel a little free and be alone with her thoughts. One evening at dusk, a small boy around 7 years old approached her. He looked straight into her eyes and promised he would help her walk again. At first, Sarah just smiled. The best doctors in the world had already declared her case hopeless, and a child making such a promise seemed unreal. But the boy introduced himself as Noah, and somehow, he seemed to know something deeply personal and hidden about her. He reminded her of a long-forgotten episode. Years ago, she had fired an elderly housekeeper, Mrs. Margaret, who had worked in her home for over 10 years. That happened after a treasured family heirloom went missing, and Sarah accused Mrs. Margaret of stealing it, unwilling to investigate further. Later, the heirloom was found, but Sarah never tried to restore the trust or bring the woman back. Noah told her that Mrs. Margaret had always forgiven her, but Sarah had never forgiven herself. That realization deeply moved her. Every day, at the same time, she came to the park and told Noah stories about Mrs. Margaret's kindness and the good times they had shared. Day by day, Sarah felt life returning to her. Her smile came more easily, and each morning it became less painful to get out of bed. One day, as she reflected on those difficult moments and the care Mrs. Margaret had shown her, she felt a slight movement in her legs, something she hadn't experienced in years. Later, Sarah found out that Mrs. Margaret was seriously ill and needed an expensive heart operation. Without hesitation, Sarah paid for the surgery anonymously through a trusted contact. Noah told her that Mrs. Margaret had cried tears of joy when she learned someone had helped her. She felt loved and needed once more. After the successful surgery, Sarah finally gathered the courage to visit Mrs. Margaret in the hospital. Their reunion was filled with tears and hugs, the kind that heal not just the body, but the soul. Mrs. Margaret said she had forgiven her long ago, and that now it was time for Sarah to forgive herself. For the first time in many years, Sarah felt free. She stood up from her wheelchair and took her first steps. Inspired by this miracle, she founded a rehabilitation center that helped people not only heal their bodies, but also mend their souls, through love, support, and forgiveness. What a beautiful story. Dear friends, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. There's so much more to come.